I remember a day, years ago, where everything just felt wrong. You know those days. The sky was that dull gray color that promised nothing but a headache. A deal I'd been working on for weeks, one I was sure was a lock, fell through with a phone call that lasted less than a minute. My energy was at zero. The feeling, the overwhelming, all-consuming feeling, was to just pack my briefcase, go home, lock the door, and maybe try again next month. The thought was, what's the use? Today is a bust. But then a simple, almost boring thought entered my mind. It was the thought of the routine, the list, the disciplines I had promised myself I would follow, no matter what. So, with a sigh that felt like it came from the soles of my feet, I did the next thing on my list. I made one more phone call to a prospect. Not with enthusiasm, not with a bounce in my voice. I just did it. Then I picked up a book on leadership I'd been working through, and I read 10 pages. Just 10. The day didn't magically become perfect. The sun didn't burst through the clouds. But something shifted. The day didn't feel like a total loss anymore. It became productive. The key takeaway, the lesson that has stuck with me for all these years, is this. The feeling didn't matter. The routine did. Let me ask you something. If you were about to set sail across the ocean, and you had a choice of two captains, which would you choose? The first captain is a man of intense passion. When he feels happy, he hoists every sail and races toward the horizon with a song on his lips. But when he feels sad, he drops anchor in the middle of the sea. When he sees a dark cloud, he turns the entire ship around, convinced it's a sign of doom. When he feels a moment of reckless excitement, he'll sail right toward a rocky shore, chasing a mirage. Now, the second captain isn't nearly as exciting. He's a bit boring. He has his charts, he has his compass, he has his destination plotted, and he has a set of procedures he follows every single day, whether the sun is shining or the waves are crashing over the bow. He checks the rigging, he consults his maps, he keeps the ship on course. Which one are you getting on board with? It's an easy choice, isn't it? You'd never trust your life to that first captain. So why? Why do we trust our lives, our fortunes, our families to the guidance of our own fickle emotions? The truth is, your feelings are the most unreliable resource you have. They are the fickle captain. They change with the weather. They change with what you had for lunch. They change with a sad song on the radio or a rude comment from a stranger. You cannot build a fortune. You cannot build a business. You cannot build a life of substance on something so flimsy. You just can't. I've learned so much from observing the simple wisdom of a farmer. Think about it. A farmer doesn't wake up, look out at his acres of unplowed land, and consult his feelings. He doesn't say, I just don't feel times like planting today. The mood isn't right. I'm not feeling the connection with the soil. It's an absurd thought. A farmer understands something fundamental about life that most people miss, the law of seasons. He understands the unbending law of sowing and reaping. He knows with a certainty that goes deeper than any feeling that if he wants a harvest in the fall, he must get out there and plant in the spring. He must do the work. He must plow the field, sow the seed, and tend the crop, whether he feels like it or not. Your life works the exact same way. The season for opportunity is now. Your routine, your set of daily disciplines is the planting. Your emotions are just the weather. And the successful farmer works regardless of the weather. The rain will fall, the sun will beat down, the wind will blow. It doesn't matter. The work must be done. Now you might be thinking, Jim, that sounds hard. A whole routine every day. Let me tell you, the routine doesn't have to be a monumental, back-breaking effort. It's not about changing everything overnight. It's about the first simple, disciplined act. It's so small you might think it doesn't count. Just make the bed as soon as you get up. Just read one page of a good book. Just write one single paragraph in your journal. Just make the one phone call you've been dreading. Here's what I've learned about that big, scary emotion of laziness. It's a powerful force, but it's also a tremendous coward. It can be broken and sent running by the smallest most insignificant seeming act of discipline. That one small act sends a message. It creates a tiny spark of momentum. It's a declaration to yourself that you are in charge, not your fleeting feelings. And that, my friend, is the beginning of personal dignity, the feeling that you are the master of your own ship. So once you've taken that first small action, you might wonder what keeps it going. A routine on its own is powerful, but a routine without a philosophy behind it will eventually crumble. The first time a major storm hits a real crisis in your health, your finances, or your family, you'll abandon it if you don't have a reason. A philosophy is the strong anchor that holds your routine in place. It's the why you do what you do every single day. It's the set of beliefs you've carefully assembled that gives your life meaning and direction. My mentor, Mr. Earl Schoaf, used to say it so well. He said, "Mr. Rohn, we are all facing the same winds. The winds of circumstance, the winds of change, the winds of emotion, they blow on us all. The wind of disappointment blows on the rich and the poor. The wind of despair blows on the successful and the unsuccessful. The wind of economic change affects every business, every household. It's the same wind. So what's the difference? Why does one man arrive at a harbor of prosperity and another drift onto the rocks of despair?" Mr. Schoaf said the difference is not the wind, it's the set of the sail. Your personal philosophy is how you decide to set your sail. It's the conscious decision to say, this is what I believe. This is where I am going. This is what I will do to get there. And your routine is the daily act of keeping that sail set properly. It's making those small, constant adjustments to catch the wind and move you toward your destination, regardless of how fierce the storm feels. Without that philosophy, when the wind of emotion blows hard, you'll just let the sail flap, and you'll end up wherever chance takes you. And let me tell you, chance is not a good life planner. Here's a common trap I see so many people fall into. They get all fired up designing their life by the decade. They go to a seminar, they get excited, and they write down these huge 5-year, 10-year goals. It feels good, doesn't it? It's emotionally satisfying to dream about the mansion and the travel and the recognition. But that excitement, that feeling, often fades by Wednesday afternoon. The real question, the one that separates the dreamers from the achievers, is this. What's your plan for the next 24 hours? What's your plan for times today, asterisk? A powerful routine is the bridge that connects your grand, long-term vision to the immediate, practical actions of today. The dream might be to build an empire, but the routine is making 10 phone calls before noon. The dream might be to achieve financial independence, but the routine is saving that first $100 this week. Without that bridge, the dream just remains a fantasy, a good feeling that produces nothing but more feeling. This is why the journal is one of the most powerful tools for success ever invented. But let me be clear on how to use it. This is not a diary for your feelings. I beg you, do not fill its pages with, "I felt sad today because my boss didn't smile at me." Who cares? That's not useful information. That's just wallowing. Instead, use your journal as a logbook, a captain's log. What actions did you take? What did you accomplish? How many calls did you make? How many pages did you read? What new ideas did you capture? What did you learn? You track the disciplines. You track the numbers. You track the effort. This simple act transforms your personal development from a matter of emotional guesswork into a science of cause and effect. It allows you to look back over a week, a month, a year, and see the correlation between your activity and your results. It's about tracking the effort, because the effort is the one thing you have absolute control over, not the immediate results or your feelings about them. When you track the effort, the results inevitably follow. Now, let's talk about what happens when you stick with this. You've built your routine on a solid philosophy. You're tracking your efforts. At first, it doesn't seem like much, but this is where the unseen magic begins to work. You've probably heard Albert Einstein called compound interest the eighth wonder of the world. He was talking about money. But let me tell you, there's an even more powerful force at play in your life: compound effort. The routine you establish, the one page you read, the one healthy meal you choose over the junk food, the one extra call you make at the end of the day, it seems like nothing. It's almost invisible. Today's effort is nearly indistinguishable from yesterday's lack of effort. Your body doesn't look any different after one salad. Your bank account doesn't look any different after saving $5. Your business doesn't change after one extra phone call. And this is where the emotions will try to trick you. They'll say, see, it's not working. You might as well just relax. But you have to be wiser than your emotions. You have to understand the power of the compound effect. Because over 1 year, 5 years, 10 years, the results of those tiny daily disciplines are so vast, so monumental, that people will look at you and scratch their heads. They'll call you an overnight success. They'll say you got lucky. They will not see the thousands of small, unglamorous, disciplined nights that created the success. They won't see the thousands of candy bars you refused, the thousands of pages you read while others were watching television, the thousands of calls you made when you didn't feel like it. They only see the harvest, not the sowing. You must have the faith to sow when there is no harvest in sight. Here's a simple truth you must confront. In life, you will face one of two pains. It's not a choice of whether to have pain, but which one you will choose. You will either experience the pain of discipline or the pain of regret. Now, here's the key difference. The pain of discipline weighs ounces, while the pain of regret weighs tons. Getting up early when you're tired, that's an ounce of pain. Making the call you're nervous about, ounces. Going to the gym when you'd rather be on the couch, ounces. But looking back on your life 5 years from now, 10 years from now, and seeing what you could have become, what you could have accomplished, if only you had started, that is a pain that weighs tons. It will crush you. Your emotions, every single day, will try to convince you to avoid the small, ounce-sized pain of the routine. It's too hard. You're too tired. You deserve a break. Start tomorrow. Your emotional self is a master negotiator for a life of mediocrity. Sticking to the routine is about consciously choosing the ounce of pain today to avoid the crushing ton of regret that is sure to follow if you don't. I want you to frame this inner conflict as a daily argument, because that's what it is. There are two voices inside you every morning. There's the voice of emotion and the voice of discipline. The emotional voice is loud, it's tempting, and it's a genius at coming up with excuses. It knows all your weaknesses. The disciplined voice is different. It's quiet, it's steady, and it's reasonable. It simply says, it's time to do what we said we would do. The problem is, most people wake up, they let the argument happen, and then they try to decide who wins. By then, it's too late. The emotional voice has already won the day. The key to the routine is to have the argument won before your head even lifts off the pillow. Your routine is a pre-made decision. The alarm goes off at 6 a.m. The argument is not, should I get up? The decision was already made last night when you set the alarm. You just execute. The workout clothes are already laid out. The decision was already made. You just get dressed. The routine automates success. It silences the emotional voice that wants to keep you comfortable and average. Think about the simple concept of an apple a day. It's the perfect metaphor for both success and failure. If you eat one apple a day, will you be a picture of health tomorrow? No, of course not. What if, instead of the apple, you eat a candy bar? Will you be unhealthy tomorrow? No. The immediate effect is negligible. It's invisible. And that's the danger. That's why it's so easy to let your emotions choose the candy bar. It tastes better times right now, asterisk. The pleasure is immediate. The apple is just an apple. But let me ask you to project this forward. Repeat that simple error in judgment choosing the candy bar over the apple every single day for 3 years, or 5 years, or 10. Can you see the difference now? Can you see the disaster it creates? And can you see the miracle that the simple apple, practiced daily, would have created? Success is nothing more than a few simple disciplines practiced every day. And failure is nothing more than a few simple errors in judgment repeated every day. The routine is the system that ensures you practice the disciplines, not the errors, when your emotions are begging for the immediate gratification of the candy bar. This brings us to the final and perhaps most important piece of the puzzle. When you live this way, when you sow the right seeds of discipline day after day, you must understand the certainty of the harvest. The harvest is not a hope, it is not a wish, it is a law. It is as certain as the law of gravity. If you consistently, diligently stick to the routine, if you plant the seeds of self-improvement, of hard work, of saving and investing, day after day, especially when you don't feel like it, especially when you see no immediate growth, the harvest is coming. It has to. You don't need to feel times like it's working. You don't need daily validation from the outside world. Your job is to trust the law. Your job is to perform the disciplines. Your job is the routine. The harvest will take care of itself. Let the law of averages and the law of sowing and reaping work for you. And here's one of the greatest lessons Mr. Schoaf ever taught me. It changed my entire perspective on goals and success. He told me, Jim, the major reason for setting a goal is not for its attainment. Can you believe that? The money, the title, the beautiful home, the recognition, those things are nice, to be sure. But the true value of setting a goal to become a millionaire is not the $1 million. The true value is in what the process makes of you to achieve it. The goal is a device. It's a target to get you to implement the disciplines. It's a reason to get you to stick to a routine. And the routine is the device that forges the character, the courage, the integrity, the discipline, and the personal strength within you. The ultimate reward of sticking to your routine is not what you get from it. It's the person you become through it. You become someone who is worthy of success. You become someone who can handle responsibility. You become someone who has built themselves from the ground up, not with luck or tricks, but with daily, unglamorous, honorable effort. That is a prize no amount of money can buy. Now let's circle all the way back to where we started, to those pesky, unreliable things called emotions. We started by saying you shouldn't let them lead, and that is the absolute truth. You must never let a feeling be the captain of your ship, but that doesn't mean your life has to be a joyless, robotic existence. Not at all. Here's the beautiful secret. When you let your disciplines lead, your emotions finally get to have a real celebration. The feeling of deep, profound satisfaction that comes after a day of hard, focused work is 1,000 times richer and deeper than the cheap, fleeting pleasure of giving in to laziness. When you accomplish what you set out to do, when you honor your own word to yourself, the joy you feel is earned. It's real. It's substantial. You earn your good feelings. They are no longer your master. They become your loyal servant, the cheerleader that gets to celebrate the victories your discipline has already won. So I leave you with a final challenge, not a wish, not a hope, but a challenge. Don't let this just be another interesting idea you heard. That would be an emotional response, a fleeting moment of inspiration. Let this be a point of action. The challenge is not to go home and change your whole life tomorrow. That's too big. That's overwhelming. No. The challenge is this. Pick one small, simple discipline and start at times tonight, asterisk, before you go to bed. Just one. Read 10 pages of a book that will make you better. Write down your simple plan of action for tomorrow. Put out your workout clothes for the morning. Make a list of the 5 most important calls you need to make. Do not wait for the feeling of inspiration to strike. It won't. Let the action of starting your routine be your inspiration. Let your new life begin not with a grand feeling, but with a single, quiet, disciplined act. That is how you build a life of substance. That is how you trade the fleeting whims of emotion for the solid gold of a life well lived. Thank you.